of all, thank you for the invite. And yeah, the E1 series is a project that I have conceived from the beginning together with Alejandro Agag. And it is, as you say, the only World Electric Race Boat Championship. When I say this, I mean that we have a license, exclusive license with the Powerboating Federation to run World Electric Race Boat Championship with whatever technology either existing or not existing yet. So for us it was a very important starting point and asset, which allows us to really focus and invest all our resources towards building something that is innovative, spectacle, and of course exciting, because we want to keep enjoying the water mobility and the race events on water, but in the meantime we have to contribute to be sustainable and reduce the impact. We are building a race platform, but we feel and we know that we are much more than that. For sure we will focus our attention on building an exciting race format, and we are thinking of a 2 days event where the first one is more dedicated to free practices and testing, and the second one is really the city event where we will have the exciting side, sporting side, based on qualifying and race. The race is a bit like a tennis tournament with quarter-final, semi-final and finals, where there will be match races and of course sprint races of 12 minutes, and the teams will have to do their best to be the winner. During this, I mean, the difference will be made by the capabilities of the driver to drive this new vessel that is half a boat, half an aircraft or an aerospace vehicle. And so a new driving style and a new technique. Then there will be some settings that the pilot will have to tune depending on the driving style and the water condition. And on top of this, the battery management is something completely new to the marine industry, and this can definitely make a difference in the final result of the race. So these are some of the elements to say that the pilot will have to train a lot and will have to use a lot of their brain as well, together with their physical capabilities in order to be competitive. I would like to say that, and I go to your unique point, we are building for sure a race platform, but we want to be much more beyond the race platform and the on-water operation. We have at least 3 dimensions we will invest heavily on. First of all, we want to be ambassadors for the city brands, in particular with the cities or location they are going to host us for the races. This means that when we are planning the race, we will make sure that our media products, we will talk about all the cities involved in the championship throughout the season, wherever we go. And we will emphasize one or more than the 3 characteristics that we are seeking for the locations. Either iconic places like Venice, Monaco, already in our radar, in our calendar. Attention to innovation and sensitivity to sustainability. So we will be very happy to be the ambassador and, if you want, the marketing office of the cities in order to make sure that they get their targets they have in their vision and agenda. So city branding will be important, and the teams will be related to the cities where we go racing, so that again we have another good excuse to speak about all the cities everywhere we go, and of course they can be the ambassador themselves. The other important pillar is technology. Our mission is to accelerate the electrification in water racing and water mobility. And of course, this means that one of the important pillars is technology, is cross-fertilization, And this is exactly what we have done by building this sport. In my proposal to Alejandro, when I presented to him the championship, I presented it like the meeting point of sailing, powerboating, and motorsport, and high-end automotive. This latter part is where we are taking all our lessons learned in terms of electronics controls and electric propulsion, and we have brought in our prototype that we have tested 2 weeks ago in a successful way, which is a great news for us, of course. So again, technology is important, infrastructure for charging is important. One of our initial pillars that is there since the very beginning is offering to the local authorities to keep the charging infrastructure in the places where we're going to be racing, even where we will leave the location, so that the people can start thinking of buying an electric race or an electric leisure boat. And so we attack straight away the automotive paradigm of the lack of infrastructure. So this will be our contribution in this direction. And I believe that this last example offers me the chance to speak about the third pillar. After the city brand, the technology, we have, of course, the sustainability. We are incredibly focused and authentically keen on driving long-lasting and large-scale projects about sustainability. We are partnering with one of the most important marine biologists of the world, and he's going to be our chief scientist officer, guiding us and building projects. And we will looking locally for sponsors and partners that want to help us in delivering this project with local forces, with local people that will be trained, educated, and will execute the work. So again, this goes all in the modern sustainability. This is more an ESG view of not only providing a positive impact to the local communities, but also delivering with action a sustainability plan. So the biggest challenge so far has been to deliver the prototype in a record time. In 8 months, we have engineered and manufactured something that has never been done before. So, a boat based on the combination of some features that is the first time that has been explored in this fashion. The foils and the balance of the foils and the electric propulsion based on a system that is powered by 600 volt and a very competitive battery in terms of performance and reliability. Together with these technical aspects, which again are kind of common challenges, but given the time frame has been specifically even more challenging. But we also had some bumps related to the lack of raw materials and the logistic issues that the world has experienced in the last year, because of course of everything that is happening in our planet in the last year at least. So it has been a very complex exercise of getting the right people around me, getting the right partners. But I have to say that in this respect, the racing spirit and the sense of urgency that is inspiring every racer has been very functional to achieve our goal in a successful way by a performance and reliability standpoint. To build a spectacle, I've spent part of my life in trying to understand how data can serve the technology for entertainment. So I have in this moment in the team one person, but we are now building a bigger team to make sure that we can provide as much interaction and immersive experience as possible, together with the clarity of what is happening around the races. I say this in particular because, of course, technology is a very interesting feature for a sport, like especially the high-speed industry. But in the meantime, we have to make sure that everything is clear, familiar, and even in the naming of our function and our features, we have to make sure that the people can relate to these features, can understand what they're doing, and they can interact with those as much as possible. So one of the examples is that we are going to get to a level of precise positioning never seen in the high-speed industry, in the racing industry. And this will allow us to interact with the digital world in a more defined and coherent way, let's say. This will open incredible application. And so please stay tuned, because we will have very, very strong projects that we will soon announce. I have to say part of this has been related to planning. So we made sure to have all the long lead time material ordered and in-house before anything else when we started the journey. So we took the risk of course, signing off the core technology behind the solution that I have selected. Actually, in the beginning, I was just by myself, and then I've been joined by incredible engineers in cyber technologies, and they helped me massively. Otherwise, it would have been difficult to achieve this. And I made this decision on the core technology and made sure that we had this in-house before anything else. So this for sure was very helpful. Sometimes we had to change a supplier and take some risk. So change the specification of some sensors because of the lack of sensors from one supplier. And of course, this has been a pretty risky decision to make, but we have made our testing and have our evaluation. And I have to say, especially coming from McLaren, most of the decision that we have taken has been based on a lot of virtualization and simulation. And we, together with Brunello Acampora from Victory Marine, before building the Racebird, we have built an early prototype, still based on thermal engine, but this gave us the chance to test the foils and correlate our simulation work with the real data. So this allowed us to get more and more confidence on our simulation tool, keep the evolution and the iteration of the foils, and then order the moldings and the material as early as possible. Without doing this, of course, this would not have been possible. So we are talking about bringing the idea of digital twins into our engineering practice. And this is possible only if you can correlate as early as possible your information and your softwares. The strategy to accelerate the electrification has been based on cross-fertilization. So, as briefly mentioned, I selected the partners and the technology that are already being tested in motor racing, which means when I talk about motor racing, I'm talking about TRL 7 or around 7. So it's a validated technology at prototype level. So that's where we took some risk. But coming from there, I knew what kind of risk I was taking. I knew the solution. In terms of core technology, of course, from there, we then have to, together with the partners, engineer our specific solution. But as soon as you have a validated technology, then the next level is more engineering capabilities and is less of a risk. Let's put it this way. So the other side, on the other side, I have taken also some solutions that are proved solution in the supercar high-end automotive industry, almost off-the-shelf parts. And of course, this allows us to reach our goals in terms of the needed power and the needed torque density. In the same time, I could de-risk our project because these solutions were already validated for important aspects like the IP level, like the amount of running you can have with, so the mileage and so forth. So again, cross-fertilization for me is a form of innovation. I apply the same logic in many things in my life, including the business model, and this is what we are refining in these days, and it's a super exciting journey, absolutely in parallel with the technology roadmap. My vision with the next generation of the boat is that instead of learning from the automotive and motorsport and bring it to the marine industry, I want to get the marine industry to the level that is going to inform the automotive and the air mobility and every sort of vehicle that is using electric propulsion. I've got some very clear idea in my mind, and also actually my next challenge is to work on an innovation center from a very strong stakeholder that wants to fund me to build a futuristic innovation center to change the destiny of the mobility, of the electric mobility. And of course, as you can see from my eyes, I mean, I just look forward to it. It's going to be like being in Disney World. I believe that E1 needs to be perceived as a very strong entertainment event with purpose. So I want to make sure to deliver a new exciting sport, but I believe that like every organization on the planet these days, you cannot design a new venture without including a contribution to the world, which has to be delivered authentically, genuinely, and really needs to contribute to the human beings, you know, to improve the condition of human beings. So again, I can see hundreds of thousands of people showing up on the shore in beautiful cities like Miami, Venice, Monaco, wherever. And if I can offer these people some hours of enjoyment, I will be very happy. But then if I can offer to all the rest of the citizens better condition of their coastal area, their water, the water conditions, and the technology to allow their mayor and politicians to really change gear and go to a different level, well, that will be the day that I think I will have hit the target, and I will be an even happier person, an entrepreneur. I have maybe a general point that I would like to share, because I strongly believe, together with Alejandro and also with my team, that we are building something huge, something that is even bigger than our imagination, and we are building it. I mean, we are absolutely on track with what our expectation, our planning was. For this reason, I spent some of my days thinking on how to formalize how I got there. Because of course, you know, I took this idea to Alejandro. We enriched the idea with Alejandro and take it to the next level. Then we've built the investor deck and all these sort of things. But this is too easy. I mean, you can learn this in academic lessons and all these sort of things. I believe that the nutshell of what we're doing has been driven by an incredible passion for water, and passion for the combination of sport and technology, you know, and what really the sport can deliver, like 2000 years ago in the Greek days. After that, I have teamed up with the best in class to deliver what my dream and aspiration was, and together with the partners and the team inside E1 and Seabird Technologies. And then we went to the phases that everyone can study in masters and in schools or online courses. But it's very important to align, you know, the simple and even childish passion with the competence that I had about the technology and electrification, and then all the rest of let's say the normal management. So this balance between a humanistic and management approach is something that took me here, which is an amazing place, I can guarantee you.